Hello Capricorns, this reading is going to be a general overview of your life in 2023 for each month of the year. With one deck, we're going to look at each month of the year and what will be happening for you, and then with another deck, I'm going to look at what's going to be happening in each area of life represented by the zodiac houses. Okay. So first we have the Four of Swords to start with in January. So for Capricorn, this seems like okay, I'm getting a few messages already. For Capricorn in January, you're going to be taking like some time off that is needed, because Capricorns can be so like stressed out and overwhelmed and overworked, working hard too often and not getting enough balance of rest. So you could be having more rest during January. You could be ignoring a call to rest. You could be overworking your body, and it could be that you're working so much and working so hard that your body is just going to like burn out eventually, and it's kind of like you're going to be forced to relax, to have time off with the Four of Swords. There's even like an element of this stress like being really anxiety inducing, and it could even like have problems on your heart and your heart health, if that's been an issue for you. So like if you're getting so stressed that's causing anxiety and it's causing problems with your heart, then this is definitely a significant time for you to be resting. Or it's like if you don't make time for yourself to rest, then either the universe or like your family or a situation will just put you in a situation where you have to rest. Like there's no other option but to rest. So we have the Two of Wands next, and I mean, I'm only taking out one card per month for this reading at a time and then going over with clarifiers, but it did come out with the Two of Cups. So in February, it looks like you could be doing some planning and like assessing your long-term goals when it comes to commitment, like committed relationships, emotionally connected relationships, especially romantic relationships. It's kind of like your focus could be to do with planning for a long-term goal that has to do with relationships. It could be that if it's connecting to the Four of Swords in January, then you haven't been making enough time to spend on your relationships and like balance out your work life and your emotional or personal life with your relationships. So it could be that through January being put into a position where you have to rest. In February, from having that time, from taking that break and being able to like see things from a different perspective, it's made you realize that there is a relationship in your life that you want to make more plans with, like put more energy into, and it's a relationship that you see in your like long-term future. So you're realizing that you need to find some kind of balance so you can fit this relationship that is important to you in your life so that it can thrive and not suffer. If you're not in a relationship that is significant, and it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, like it could be an existing like family relationship or a friendship, but if you're not in a romantic relationship right now, or if you don't have a close friend, it could be that one of your long-term goals is to be able to have this like kind of close connection with someone. And it could even be referring to like a therapist or a guide of some kind. So it could be even that you're coming to terms with realizing you might need some kind of guidance and support from a professional person with like how to balance your life and work so that overall you can have like a balanced life, and so that you can feel more at ease within yourself. In March, we have the Tower card. I think it might have been Sagittarius who I did the Sagittarius reading like last week. I think they also got the Two of Wands and the Tower card next to each other, but in different positions. So in March, the King of Cups has kind of come out with a Tower. It could be like there's definitely some kind of unexpected event or situation that's going to happen that could cause some chaos and panic or drama. Like it's going to shake up your world and your life and your sense of stability and security for the time being. But it's like the Tower is something that happens when a situation or a relationship was built on foundations that weren't solid or stable. And you could have been aware of this or not, but either way, with the King of Cups there, I mean, it could also be talking about like an inner, like big wake-up call, like a really big awakening, like an inner personal awakening. But it could be if it's not through an external event, it could be like, it could even feel like you're having a big kind of panic attack, or like something within you has just like become really stormy, like a storm, and it's just like really shaking you up on the inside, and it could be causing lots of anxiety at this time. Capricorn is a sign that really likes to be in control of things going to plan. And when the Tower comes up, usually things that were going to plan stop going to plan, and it really shakes everything up, and it's completely unexpected. You don't really know what to expect, really. the only thing to expect is to expect the unexpected with the Tower. But with the King of Cups there, I think it's a calling to either get in touch with and connect with someone who is the King of Cups energy, which is someone who's really supportive emotionally, someone who's really there for you during hard times, and like someone you can really turn to when you're feeling really chaotic within yourself, or just when your life is really chaotic. It's the King of Cups is really good at soothing people's emotions. He's like the master of emotional intelligence and how to deal with emotions. And so when this Tower moment comes up in March, it could be that the King of Cups is someone who's around you, but it could be, so like if it's someone who's around you, it's saying to let them in, which can be hard when you're a Capricorn. But if this person isn't around you, or they don't seem to like appear available, it could be that you need to focus on reaching out to this support person. And typically it represents like a father or masculine type of authority figure who's really sensitive but emotionally intelligent and supportive, and like warm and compassionate and empathetic. Not sensitive in a way that's like going to drive everybody else crazy. It's sensitive in a way that he is like empathetic, and he can sense when things are off with other people, but he's like not there to judge. He's just there to look after and comfort people who are going through really difficult emotional times. So it could even be talking about getting in touch with a therapist as well, or just any kind of person that you can turn to for emotional support. If it isn't talking about seeking this out in another person, it could be that because Capricorn is a sign that likes to rely on itself and doesn't really like to be emotionally vulnerable, even with people that they do trust, it could be saying that during this Tower moment, if you don't want to like reach out to other people for support, it's saying to obviously turn to yourself for support, but be the King of Cups energy. Like, don't be hard on yourself and don't be punitive like a typical Capricorn. Find a way to console yourself and support yourself during these times, but especially emotionally. It's like really big on the emotions. It's heavily involved with the emotions, and that's what you need to look out for. And like that's how you need to look after yourself. That's what you need to look after yourself with in March with the Tower. In April, we have the Five of Cups. So, I mean, I'm going to go through and clarify all of these cards after, but the Five of Cups could be resulting from this Tower situation. Now that the Five of Cups has come out with when the King of Cups was there clarifying the Tower before, kind of, it could be that you lost someone, like lost them somehow, like lost the connection, lost the relationship you had with them. Doesn't have to be through a physical death, but something unexpected could have happened with them. And then in April we have the Five of Cups. It's like during March with the Tower, you didn't have time to like really stay still and like grasp the situation and like take stock of what happened. Like the whole month was kind of just a blur because things were so chaotic and like just all over the place, and it was just like you just had to keep going like non-stop, just like really fast paced, keeping on going and like focusing on how you can fix things and just how to like get through the month. And so your mind and your life and your soul, just like every part of you and your life were like overwhelmed and like absorbed by this chaotic, unexpected tower moment. So when it gets to April, it could kind of, I don't see it like hitting you like a ton of bricks. I see it kind of like slowly easing into it, like a slow tide with the Five of Cups. Like at the start of the month, it's going to be kind of starting low and then going up gradually, like slowly, kind of easing your way into it in April. And you'd be easing your way into grieving the loss of something. But I'll clarify that too after I get all of the cards out. This is a lovely card. I had a feeling that this was going to come out, not exactly this card, but this energy was going to come out after the Five of Cups. So in May, it's looking a lot better. I'm getting like the sense with this reading that if throughout every month, if you just like surrender to the energy of each month, it's going to be a lot smoother sailing for you, which can be really hard for a Capricorn to do, because Capricorn is one of those signs that likes to have control over a situation and doesn't necessarily like to give into their emotions and like give into being vulnerable. And like aside from that, it can be like they're constipated emotionally. So they may not even like recognize what kind of emotion is coming up for them. It could be like really suppressed. So I think especially in January with the Four of Swords, it's just like really important to get that rest. But and like it also talks about healing as well, especially mentally. But I just think there's a big message, like if you like embrace the energy of each card and like take a kind of role of surrendering to each energy of the month, of each month, then it will go a lot smoother. And then so in May we have the Strength card, which is really lovely. You're definitely going to be filled with a lot more hope and positivity and strength and resilience after these chaotic kind of troubling times in March and April. It looks like things are going to be a lot brighter for you, a lot of a brighter perspective and just energy. It's giving me a really healing energy. Like I think you're going to come out feeling a lot stronger after having gone through this. Capricorn is like typically a sign that goes through really difficult periods of their life, and they learn a lot of wisdom from it. But it like definitely gives them a realistic and kind of a pessimistic perspective and outlook on the world, but it makes them wiser and stronger, like a lot strong. And I think that it could be like a big milestone for you where you've like leveled up in a milestone of like maturity. But it's really positive with the Strength card. I don't see it being like a really heavy energy. Well, actually, no, it could be. It could be a mix of heavy and light energy. I think you're going to feel like really empowered with the Strength card, that like just knowing that you've overcome this and like you've come out on the bright side of a situation. In June, we have the Hanged Man. This is another card that gives similar energy to the Four of Swords. So in June, it looks like you're going to be taking a break. It's also like, it's definitely given me the same energy of the Four of Swords. So the Hanged Man can have like, it's definitely a slower, kind of stagnant energy where you're kind of forced into this position, and it could be dull and boring. And I think in June you may just want to like keep going and going, but again, like the Four of Swords, it's like something is forcing you to stop, and it could be something out of your control. But it's like when you surrender to this energy in June, you're going to come out with a new perspective, and it will hit you when you're like least expecting it, when you don't even realize it. And it could be one of those things where you don't even realize the realization in the moment, because it's just going to be so like dull and like normal, just like really monotone and subtle. But in hindsight, in the future, you'll be looking back on this time in June and realize that that was the realization that kind of like changed everything. So it may not be like a super groundbreaking month while you're going through it. And it may not even be like a super groundbreaking realization when you remember it in the future. But it's definitely, it's subtle, but it's going to make a big deal. It's going to be small, and it's going to make an impact, but it's going to be subtle. So it's like it's going to be a big deal, but it's not. And that sounds really confusing, but that's just that's how it's coming out. That's how it's coming to me. I don't know if I can like explain it any clearer, but to me it sounds confusing, but that's what's coming out. Okay, so in July we have the Page of Pentacles, and then the Knight of Wands and the Six of Swords came out, which I'm not surprised. Part of July is Cancer season, so your 7th house will be activated, so it makes sense that you have 2 court cards here representing different people in your life. I don't see it being like a super conflicting energy. Like both the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands are upright. It could be that because the Page of Pentacles and Knight of Wands are so different, that is where the kind of conflict or friction could be coming up. Because with the Six of Swords there, like in general, if it was just coming up alone in July, if it was the Six of Swords by itself, I would say that you're getting away from like a troubling situation and you're wanting to move ahead into calmer waters, into a calmer situation. But it's kind of like clarifying the Page of Pentacles with the Knight of Wands. So first of all, there's definitely a lot of social contact and planning and action being made on connecting with other people in July. It could be that honestly, it could be a mixture of so many different people. The Knight of Wands and the Page of Pentacles could be the same person. It's just 2 different aspects of them. And it could even be representing how you view your relationships with other people at this time. But I'm getting the sense that the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands are 2 different people who don't necessarily get along with each other. So the Knight of Wands is very action-oriented, very much like a fire sign, like Aries and Sagittarius, mostly in my opinion, but also Leo. they're go-getters, and they aren't necessarily the best or most focused on planning. They can be really spontaneous and impulsive, and it's like when they feel inspired to do something, they take action on it, and usually their confidence leads them to success, but it's not always like the best, like it's not always the most thought out, planned thing. Then with the Page of Pentacles, it's a younger, more less experienced energy, where the Page of Pentacles is more focused on practical, slow, steady paced energy. It's like the Knight of Pentacles, except it's less like mature and experienced. The Page of Pentacles is like a bit more of a shyer, reticent energy, where they're definitely not like the Knight of Wands, where they'll just like go off impulsively and like go out and get what they want. It's like they're very, very cautious and protective of like the goals and things that matter to them, things that make them feel secure. And it's like, because they're a page, they're the youngest of the court cards, it's like they're still learning these things. They're still learning how to like be accepting of that part of themselves, especially when they're faced with someone who's like more older or more experienced with them, who has just a completely different type of energy. It could be a bit intimidating. Anyway, whoever you're dealing with in July, like these two different energies, these two different people, it's kind of confusing. Like it could be two different friends or two different business partners, two different children who are at different age levels. Someone is moving away from each other, and I don't see it in like a very malicious kind of way or a hurtful kind of way. I think that there is just going to be a little bit of time out in July from these people, or just differences that you have with people. You're going to be getting away from them, having a break from them for just a little bit. Sorry, that's my printer. So for August, August looks like a really beautiful month for you. A very, very beautiful month for you. August is going to bring lots of healing, lots of feminine energy. It could even be that in July you are meeting with someone who has this kind of, he has like the positive traits of the Page of Pentacles, and kind of could be also the Knight of Wands. And even the Six of Swords that was there, it could be like you're meeting someone who's taking you away from the stress and like overwhelm, the harshness of the world. It's like taking you away from that energy, helping you to see like the brighter side of life, kind of like giving you a new lease on life. And it's leading into this star energy in August, which is just really healing, especially with the Empress, healing feminine energy. And then coincidentally the Queen of Cups is on the bottom. So a heavily nurturing time in August. Lots of healing. I have very feminine, motherly, nurturing, healing energy. Yeah, that's all the energy. That's it. That's all of it for August. It's a really lovely time. There's nothing bad about it at all. Okay, for September, the Four of Wands and the Eight of Cups came out. They kind of came out together, so I mean, yeah, anyway. for September, it could be that you're leaving a situation that's unfulfilling and you're like moving into a new home or joining a new family, joining a new group of friends or a new work that feels like family. One that makes you feel more happy and successful and joyous, like all together. Or it could be that you are leaving something like that, and we will get a clarify for that later. In October, we have the Chariot and the Devil. So this is, so I think this is like relating to whatever's happening in September with walking away from a situation. It could be a like a lifestyle or attitude, behavior, habit that you have had, or a way of living life that has come up in October and either through September to October, where it's been really unbalanced. It's been taking a toll on you. It's been taxing. You've been pulled in different directions, and what's coming to the focus now is how to, well, you're going to have to like overcome this energy of the devil to be able to like function properly and to live your best life. The devil definitely teaches us some important lessons, and we have to we have our own learning journeys, and we all have to go through it and experience it and choose to come out the other side, or something else will force us to come out the other side and overcome this devil energy. But I think it's relating to some kind of addictive tendency to have life out of balance, or to stay in a situation too long that's unfulfilling. And it could be that you're feeling a bit unfulfilled or pulled in two different directions with like work and family, and like both of them are just overwhelming, and you could be like escaping that overwhelm through some kind of substance or just anything else that's addictive that you just take too far. So yeah, there's definitely a calling to find some kind of balance and to find a way to relieve yourself of the stress and the pressure, so that you don't completely fall into this devil energy where you just like lets you make your life spiral out of control. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. The Devil card also does represent Capricorn. So it could be that there could be some kind of a ultimately unfulfilling, insatiable need for control or power or status or money. Status and reputation or money. So in November for 2023, I think, well, we have the Six of Cups, so I think it's going to be a really beautiful energy. Another one like the Star card. I'm actually even picking up that you could be saying goodbye to your parents. Like, I don't know, maybe they were traveling here for the year or something like that, or you were traveling to see them, but I think you're saying goodbye to your parents in some way. But with the Six of Cups, I think there's going to be some kind of reunion of sorts, and it's going to make you feel a lot happier, especially coming out of this devil energy in October, with the Six of Cups here in November, you're going to feel really blessed and lucky and happy to be surrounded by all the supportive people that you have. And you could be like reconnecting with people you haven't seen in a long time, or reconnecting with places you haven't been to in a long time. And it's just a really lovely, wholesome energy. You could be spending more time in nature or outdoors, but it's somewhere specific. It's somewhere with memories attached to it, or it's somewhere that makes you feel on the inside like really nostalgic, kind of like you've been there before, even if you haven't been there before. It could be that you're going back to one of those places or hanging out with one of those people that just gives you that feeling on the inside of like nostalgia. But it's a really lovely energy of reconnecting with the older things that you haven't experienced in a while. So in December, by the end of this year, we have the Queen of Wands, which is another lovely card, and the Emperor. So this is amazing. In December, you could be like joining forces with someone that makes you part of a power couple duo. With the Queen of Wands and the Emperor, you could be in a really powerful business partnership. You could be a parent. You could be working together with your partner, or you could be working together with an older parent or an older grandparent, specifically father or grandfather. But there's definitely this energy of like mixing with someone in some kind of partnership where you're just boss bitches, basically. Like, it's just amazing. Like, it's just a really go-getting energy, lots of fire, very powerful, dynamic, inspiring, enthusiastic, courageous, brave, hardworking. It just really gives lots of boss type energy, very controlling and powerful, but doesn't have to be like in the worst way. I'm seeing it as like a positive kind of influence. I don't think it's being taken to extremes, even though there is that potential. I think you're just going to feel really in your element in December. And if you are like part of a duo or a partnership of some kind, I think that you're going to feel there's going to be lots of chemistry. It could even be that you're with someone who you will learn from, or you're kind of mentoring someone else, but you're working together really well. You're kind of like looking out for each other, and you're working together, even looking for each other, whatever that means. It's a really strong, bold energy that's in control of the situation and takes charge of the situation. And this could, I feel like it's really strong for business and career type stuff. Could even be creative projects, but it could also have to do with like children and the family home life, because it's a really authoritative combination of people, very authoritative and like in control. They're a boss of something, and it's like very much planning and managing and telling people what to do, but not necessarily in a harsh way. If the Queen of Wands and the Emperor were reversed, then they would be like the abusive kind of controlling and powerful. But it's not. This is like a really benevolent influence on whoever these people are around. So yeah, anyway, it's a really beautiful energy to end the year with. But let's clarify the Tower and the Five of Cups. have Death and the Six of Pentacles. So with Death, I think that this could like really be pointing strongly to a like inner awakening, an inner realization, an inner wake-up call. And with the Six of Pentacles, it has to do with a give and take of something, energy, time, resources. I can't remember what card came out for the Tower earlier. Or even if a card did come out. Oh, King of Cups, that's right. Yes, so definitely seeing a therapist of some kind, someone who can guide you and help you through this like semi-traumatic, chaotic process. It could be, I think it's definitely going to be talking about something that happens internally with you, but through the external circumstances, that's like a 50-50. Actually, no, I think there's a strong chance that it's definitely going to affect your external world in some way, but the call to have someone there to support you is just really strong. It's just really enhanced, basically, with these cards. Also, getting that there's more people out there than you realize who can support you, even though it may not feel like it, but just remember to like treat yourself how you would like to be treated by someone else in that situation. So if you want to turn to somebody, what is it about them that makes you want to turn to them, and how can you provide that for yourself if you feel like you can't turn to them? So with the Five of Cups, so the Eight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords kind of came out reversed. So I think this could have something to do with something that you worked on really hard and you like put a lot of time and energy into it. You put lots of focus, lots of time, lots of energy, possibly resources and money on it. And through the whole time that you were doing it, it could have just been putting so much stress onto your life and yourself. You weren't getting much sleep. It was keeping you up at night. It was just like severe anxiety. And it's kind of like whatever you were working on could have like really came crumbling down, like even physically. There's a chance that it could have been a house or a building or like some kind of project that you were actually physically building, and it wasn't built on stable, solid foundations, and that's why it crumbled down. With the Two of Wands there, it's like it's really important to make sure that you plan ahead for the long-term goals that you want, or even the short-term, depending what you consider short and long-term time frames. But the Two of Wands is talking about really being aware of the things that can go wrong, really focusing on the planning and like how to combat these obstacles and challenges when they come up. So in February, really take the time to plan for everything. I know that we're in Mercury retrograde right now, and there could be a chance that it's still lingering in February. So just, yeah, really, really, really pay attention to the things that could go wrong and like how to overcome them when they happen. And make sure whatever you're building, whatever your project is, whether it's like an actual physical building or if it's, I don't know, like a relationship or like your career, the career ladder that you're climbing. Make sure you're not skipping vital, important things, even if they're small details. There's some kind of solid basis and foundation filled with things that could seem insignificant, but they're actually really important, and you might not realize it at the time, but eventually it's going to come out how important those things were, but it might not be until it was too late. But it's never really too late. There's always a chance to like overcome things and rebuild things. It's just that if that does happen in March with the Tower, and then in April you're going to like experience that loss. It could be that in April, when this Tower moment happens, you're going to be so focused on figuring out how to rebuild and repair this situation or this project that you don't have time to like focus on how depressing it was to lose this thing. And yeah, there could be lots of regret about it happening and thinking about like what you could have done better and stuff like that. So it could be like a really big learning journey moment for you, especially in April when you have time to reflect. But yeah, aside from that, there's always going to be another day. There's always going to be another chance to improve yourself, to improve how you approach projects, to improve the project itself. Like maybe this was supposed to happen for a reason. And yes, just give yourself time to like experience and live in the energy that you're experiencing, even if it's like an uncomfortable emotion like sadness and like just grieving over the loss of something. Like it has to happen, but also again, it's your life and you do what you want to do. So that was it for the monthly portion of the reading, and I will do the different areas of life reading now. Okay, so before we get into the months, I actually have one more message for the Four of Swords, and that's just that it could be taking some time out from the holiday period. That's all. So, okay. Hanged Man for the first house. Okay, this is very interesting. So in the original one, we got the Page of Pentacles that came out with the Knight of Wands, and now we have the Page of Wands that came out with the Knight of Pentacles. Very interesting. Wow, okay. Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Oh, I love that. Yeah, this is lovely. Okay, so there's some very interesting themes going on here. In the first house, we have the Hanged Man. So your approach to life and the world throughout this year is the Hanged Man. It's like you're getting a new perspective on lots of things. Like maybe things are stopping and starting, and maybe there's more off time happening than you were prepared for. It could be that you're like just always on the go. So this is like a bit of a foreign energy to you, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable. But there's definitely, it's like the universe situations are forcing you to like take a step back and have a break that will like ultimately lead to you thinking of new ideas and like having a new fresh perspective on like how to approach life throughout 2023. In the second house, we have the Eight of Swords. So this could be concerns about your finances and your family throughout. And these are, with the Eight of Swords, they aren't necessarily like legitimate rational fears. It could just be that you have this kind of like fear of lack when it comes to your personal income and finances. Like you're scared of losing things. You're just, there's just fears surrounding it. In the third house, we have the Nine of Swords. So there could be fear of some kind of communication or knowledge sharing, learning things. Communication with other people could like specifically be like with people in your day-to-day life or with your siblings or with your neighbors, but there's some kind of fear there. I don't know if it's like some kind of social anxiety thing or I don't really know what it is, but it could be why the King of Cups came up in this area as well with the Tower card on the first spread. It's like really tapping into that like supportive guidance, nurturing energy and like healing energy as well. It could also be like a result from like your work balance. Like there's something about being overwhelmed, and that could be seeping out into the third house area of life, which is communication mainly, and has to do with your mind as well. So it's like you're really caught up in some kind of fear, like several different fears this year. And so, I mean, that's not a really nice way to live. And so you could be like trying to drown that out with different things, like potentially addictions. And you're just wanting to like stay like unconscious of it and not really face what it is that's coming up, what it is that you're trying to bury. And it could be just like that reluctance to acknowledge that there is an imbalance with different areas of your life and where you're giving energy, and like a reluctance to see that so that you're able to do something about it, because then maybe there's like a fear of change because you're so used to having this imbalance where you're able to just focus all of your energy in one area, but doing that makes you imbalanced, and doing that takes away the opportunity for you to have a balanced life where you can feel okay. It's just, there's a lot of like mental worries and fears that you're going throughout this year, and I think it would be wise to address them and confront them. Like the hardest part is doing it, and then that's over. But yeah, it could be kind of stressful. Anyway, in the fourth house area of life, I think whatever was going on in the seventh house here in the original reading could have to do with like your family life or your children or even your siblings. Could be friends that you consider family, but there is something to do with them happening in the fourth house area of life, and it could also be relating to like your security and sense of safety. But I think this is really relating to like people that you interact with like one-on-one and have kind of a close relationship with. I think there's going to be a focus on those two people, or it could be one people with their two different energies. But yeah, there is a focus on them in the fourth house area of life. So yeah, your home and family throughout 2023. And it could be that you have a teen or a tween child, and then like a teenager or young adult child, and like they're not getting along or something. But anyway, just the focus is on them on 2023 when it comes to your home and family situation. Then in the fifth house, we have the Six of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles, which is really lovely. It could be that you're getting inspired to take on a new project. Also with the fourth house, it could be that your children are moving out, or like you're kind of moving away from each other for a little while. Like maybe someone is going to boarding school or something like that, or going off to college or university, going traveling, something like that. But in the fifth house, we have the Six of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. So yeah, getting inspired about some kind of project, creative project, or a romantic project. Romantic relationship. Through like someone that you knew a long time ago, someone you haven't seen in a while, someone that you have like close memories with, someone you knew in childhood. You could be like reconnecting with someone you knew from school who you had a crush on, or like who you just had fond memories with. And it could be that even like if you were friends or something, whatever kind of relationship you had, they could be inspiring you. You could be getting inspired through them to take on and start this new project. Or you could be inspired to work together on a project. But this could also represent your children are playing a big part. You could be finding out that you're pregnant, or that you're pregnant again, that you're having another child, that one of your children is having a child. Could be finding out that your partner is having a child, or something like that. But it's whatever it is, it's going to be a really positive, wholesome experience. And it's going to be a really lovely time. You could be spending time together like more as a family with you and your partner and each other's children, especially if you have like if you have your own children but you didn't have them together, like if it's stepkids or something, I think it's going to be like a really lovely time coming together. Or if you haven't seen your own children for a while, it could be that you're getting together to see them in throughout the year. Then in the sixth house, we have the Four of Swords reversed, which makes a lot of sense, to be honest. I love how we got the Four of Swords that came out in the first reading for January, but it seems like the Four of Swords reversed is going to have like a persistent kind of energy calling to you throughout the year, and it really has to do with taking a break when you need it, finding that really good balance of where you're like investing your time, but especially your mental energy and capacity. It's like, yeah, finding that energy, realizing what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done, prioritizing things so that you're not wasting your mental energy and capacity, and so that you're able to maintain your mental stamina. So the Four of Swords reverse could also be like spending too much time resting. So it's just why it's such a big message of balance, finding a good balance in your day-to-day life and in your work, especially work and health, finding a balance. Then in the seventh house, we have the Empress, which is really lovely. Definitely getting into some kind of healing relationships, mothering, nurturing relationships. Could be having a closer relationship with your mother or maternal figure. Could be getting pregnant again or having a child. Could be meeting someone that you want to have a child with or that you will have a child with. Could be interacting with people who are really nurturing and attentive and sensitive to your needs. You could be acting this way with other people. I think that this year is just like a really big calling, a really big energy with like having supportive, emotionally supportive, kind, sensitive, nurturing people around you. And that could be for any kind of one-on-one relationship. In the 8th house area of life, we have the 8 of Wands. So there could be a lot of communication and travel with your partner's family, if you have a partner. But if not, it could be relating to, or as well as your like subconscious, part of your subconscious, psychological things, like potential traumas that you might have. A lot of energy and communication going into those things, like your fears as well. Subjects around vulnerability or taboo subjects, maybe the occult or death or spirituality. There's a lot of energy being put into it, learning about it, talking about it, making plans to communicate about it, making plans to travel to learn about it, which makes sense with the High Priestess in the 9th house. So for that area of life with the 9th house, which is really matching to this area, is like occult knowledge. There are some things that you just know, some things that are hidden. It's a really psychic kind of card, but especially since it's in the 9th house of like higher learning and education, philosophy, spirituality, beliefs, religion, opinions, authority figures. You could be like connecting with even spirit guides, like authority, people who were authorities in your real physical life that have passed over, and you're connecting with them and they're teaching you something. You're connecting with them a lot more. They're like kind of showing you hidden knowledge or showing you how to access hidden knowledge. But also, aside from that, with the High Priestess in the 9th house, you kind of just know things. Like, you know what is the right path to go down. You know what's right for you. There are things that you're becoming aware of, and you don't know how you're aware of it, but you just know. Like, it's a really highly psychic, intuitive card, and it's all about hidden knowledge and having the key to that hidden knowledge. But it can also be one of those really subtle cards where you don't even realize that you're having these intuitive psychic insights and you're getting clarity and information on certain things, but it's not like a huge wow moment. It just happens without you realizing it, and it kind of like passes you by. But that's really powerful for learning and higher education. You could even be like a focus of learning for you this year could even be surrounding like how to tap into your intuition, connect with your intuition and like the deep part of yourself, like your gut feelings, but also like connect to some kind of clairvoyant talents that you might have. In the 10th house, we have the 8 of Pentacles, which is beautiful and typical for a Capricorn. It's very, a lot of energy is putting into your career life. Very focused, very focused. Lots of energy and time and effort is being put into your career and your reputation and your standing within the world, figuring out where you stand in the world, creating this image for the world to see, but really has to do with your career, and you're working really hard on it as usual. You're just plodding along throughout the day, remaining focused and determined and resilient with this career goal that you're working on. In the 11th house, we have the Hermit card, which also makes a lot of sense because you have Scorpio in the 11th house. So with the Hermit there, you could be withdrawing from different groups, like different friend groups, different social groups. You're just withdrawing and spending more time alone. Or if you do find yourself socializing, I think in those times, like in big groups, you could be feeling more withdrawn, which could be normal for you, but if not, then that's definitely going to be something that's happening for you. Feeling a lot more withdrawn when you're out socializing in a group with other people, being analytical and observant, and kind of seeing how being around different people like affects you on the inside, on the soul, spirit level. In the 12th house, we have the Two of Swords, which is very, there's definitely some kind of subconscious block, habit, pattern, or fear that you are not seeing. I think you're aware that it's causing you some kind of stress or a stalemate of some kind in your life, but the Two of Swords person, the character of this person in the Two of Swords doesn't know what the answer is, doesn't know what the right thing is. She just knows that she's stuck like between a rock and a hard place. But she might not even be aware of what she's stuck between. And so she needs to like take off the blindfold and confront whatever it is that is there and make a decision. Like evaluate the situation and figure out what is right for her. But because it's in the 12th house, this could be something that is really, really difficult for you to see. Like you really have to dig deep into the unconscious part of yourself to get the answers to the Two of Swords, which is really similar to the Hierophant in a way, because it's could be saying to like really listen to your intuition. Like if you can't see the truth of a situation, then it's kind of like feel your way through to the truth of a situation, which can be hard as a Swords card, and especially as the Two of Swords card, because there's at least two different options that could be conflicting, and so it's confusing to you in your mind, especially when you keep it all up in your mind. So it could be a calling to like intuitive write and just like write and write and write until you get a message that makes sense, or until you get all the clutter out of your head, and then what is left in your head is the truth. So yes, that is what is happening for you for 2023. You'll have to let me know how the year plays out for you. And thank you for watching.